loot if there ever was one. Of course, people getting back into that mode of thinking. Classic WoW, heading your way soon. But now, we're just going to look at the match in front of us. Uprising going to be coming out on a very DPS-heavy setup, whereas GRUNTo, 3-3.
3-3 for GRUNTo, and also GRUNTo has always been a team that, even last season when their swim ownership continues, has been very 3-3 focused. They do have Tizzy now on that Reinhardt, and Wub on the Vegeta. So a slight change, obviously, for their lineup. GRUNTo now just walking back to spawn. Looks like they're going to be swapping, putting Tizzy onto the Winston. Harblu onto the Sombra, the legendary Harb Sombra. Salty still staying on the D.Va, and Wub going Tracer.
I'm not prepared.
Are you prepared for Harblu Sombra?
I mean, I used to not be prepared for Harblu Tracer, and this is about in the same wheelhouse, but, you know, time changes all things, and we'll see where Harblu is on his Sombra play right now.
So because of that flip for GRUNTo, they've already had to get the first flip for Uprising Academy. But remember, it's not about who gets first flip, it's about who wins first fight.
Well, the problem is that you're running Sombra and you're kind of investing in the EP. Already Moira down, Mirror, the early pickoff, and for GRUNTo, this is going to be a hard flip.
GRUNTo's coming back in. They do not have that Moira. Can they get any more frags, though? Because right now, Wub, he's running around with Harblu, but Mirror still being there. Claws and Mirror just slowly but surely picking them off. And Mirror, someone that's been with other squads before, he was with NRG, getting to flex his projectile DPS prodigy skills a little bit.
And GRUNTo, I mean, the problem I see here is that this composition they're running is still going to be very reliant on building EMP. I mean, yes, Sombra has a pretty favorable matchup versus the Hammond, but I don't see GRUNTo taking point without EMP here.
There is some space open for Wub to maybe get to a Pulse Bomb, get an early pickoff on Tracer, win the Tracer duel, but a lot of this is reliant on the EMP. But remember, while Uprising is playing triple DPS, you don't have to worry quite as much about winning a team fight with an ult, rather than just winning those aim duels and actually just finding one of those picks.
Here right now under heavy pressure, Harb going on in, getting healed back up on the wall, and Harblu's down, takes a rocket to the feet. Meanwhile, Tizzy and Rob diving in on the other side. It's 4-on-4. But if you're GRUNTo, this is still not the ideal situation. Klaus moving around the backhand side, looking for Lucio. And this sort of chaos works out well to Uprising.
There's the pulse from Klaus as well, catching Rob Dab. The flip, by the way, the point is still in control for Uprising Academy. There has been no flip for GRUNTo. They still haven't managed to get any value from the EMP. They haven't gotten an EMP yet. And even though Zolak gets Klaus at the end, I don't know why GRUNTo, they're still committing to this fight. Harblu is going to get one. They're pressuring the point. Can they get the flip? They do.
They get the flip, they have EMP, and this is where they need to start flexing on this. Ideally, have a very ult-clean fight with the EMP. Buy some time on it, but it's a long way to go for GRUNTo right now.
Salty punishing Mirror. Rob also combining, so Mirror's down due to that combined fire. They have the nano, they're going to use it there. Harblu's down, so no EMP in this fight currently for GRUNTo.
It might be a blessing, though. I don't think they necessarily want to use EMP here just yet. I mean, you have the Hammond going around. Okay, Klaus getting the Tracer pick. That makes things a little bit riskier. If GRUNTo can heal up Tizzy, now they're going to be able to head back in a pretty good time, no less.
Comes down. There is once again, no EMP for Uprising either. Harblu's decided to come back. He's committed the EMP. He's grounded Mirror. He's grounded Swimmer. Can they get these frags? So far, GRUNTo, they haven't been able to get anything. Finally, Swimmer goes down, so it's possible for them to win.
Swimmer falls. Mirror trying to drop the barrage of Avenge, but ends up falling in turn. GRUNTo keeping control right now. It's been very back and forth, but something where Uprising running the more DPS-heavy setup, they're not able to get to the point successfully.
And after all that time, there has been no flip, no win for Uprising. They invested a lot. They're probably going to make these swaps on to 3-3. Yes, they are going 3-3. They're recognizing that GRUNTo is on that 2-2-2. And Salty, I think I have to give Salty and Rob Dab a lot of credit where they stayed alive throughout that fight. They found value frags with Tizzy.
GRUNTo swapping too. GRUNTo going back to 3-3. They have the nano in reserve, not much else. And Uprising getting them to the point. Sleep on the Punk. Goodbye a little bit of time, but Salty gets the nano, but it's not in time. The nano came in right as the mech was falling. So that is the nano essentially thrown into the abyss, and Uprising more than willing to punish, gonna dive on in. And GRUNTo not in the best of situations here. Uprising gonna flip, and I don't think GRUNTo has time.
GRUNTo doesn't have time. They don't have players. They don't have ults. They have none of those. And you see this chase happening for Uprising Academy. They've already have the flip. They're currently just getting the frags. And I don't know, GRUNTo, I don't think they're gonna be able to touch it. Even if they do, it's just gonna be the end for them.
So Uprising bringing it on back, and that was a bit tragic for GRUNTo there, where Rob's nano just a little bit late, where you see the nano go in, it's like, no, but the mech is already dead.
No nano. Dino also able to give the nano on the Titawat a little bit after, so Titawat's just free to walk all over Tizzy, which is exactly what he did. Walked over the front line for GRUNTo. A close round. They definitely, GRUNTo brought it back, had some strong showings there in the end. But Uprising because of their early point presence, because of that early time bank had plenty of time to bring it back. Grunto looking to equalize here.
Well, here's what we're going to follow up on. We had a matchup with a lot of heroes swapping back and forth, a lot of hero chess in the spawn with the H key. We're going to follow it up with good old-fashioned 3-3 versus 3-3. Probably not as much in the way of swapping this time around.
And now their team decided to roll on the triple guess or any sort of variance with the Somber Goats. We're going to have to watch these bubbles as right now Mirror solo requires the armor pack. So now there's no armor pack and they have to get Klaus.
Well, it comes at a cost, though. Both teams down one. Harblue was going a little bit deep to fall through. Titawat, though, in real danger. Heavy shield pressure coming in, and pressure just in general. But Uprising, they're going to be able to back out of it. Titawat getting healed on up. So Grunto unable to finish the line. Still a chance here for Uprising. Grunto, they're going to rotate over the point. Likely to get it first here, and they do.
They do get the first flip, but remember, it's all about the first fight win. Once again, so important now for KOF for those control maps.
Punk got melted. Punk just went forward a little bit. Tizzy going to drop the hammer. And Grunto now not only getting first point, but also decisively winning first battle.
You have to invest that rally and the shatter, but that's fine. Winning the first fight, more time bank for you. Rally and shatter, especially for winning the first fight, I think is a relatively cheap combination. Uprising now are going to have to re-enter the point. They're definitely farther ahead in the grab. Robda does have the trance. So for them, they would like to be able to force trance before they come into this fight, but just having a solid grab, when there's no other ult on the field for Grunto, means they'll be able to clean up.
You're taking a lot of poke damage early. Getting a little bit of cover there. Uprising, definitely a slight edge in terms of ult economy. Winning more in the poke war. Grunto super low, Wub already down. Grab's not going to be invested. Down goes Harb, and a lot of that fight won even before ults were invested.
It was, and I think Uprising made the right moves where they Dino trances.
But why?
But why?
There is no reason to transcend there. You cannot justify that transcendence.
Yeah, I mean, maybe the D.Va, he was like, oh, the D.Va's going to shatter me? I don't know.
The D.Va's going to shatter me.
I mean, either way, even if Dino had died, the fight was over and won. He'd be back. So maybe a fat finger, but if that, I don't know. Just questionable for Dino. So Grunto going to have to re-enter the point here. That is Uprising getting the flip. They've won it off that solid grab play. They don't have a Transcendence, which means that once Harblue gets this grab, it's a lot stronger for Grunto.
Certainly so. Uprising holding up the choke. Tizzy in real danger, going to fall early, and the beat from Grunto. Not quite in time. Uprising, stronger holder of the choke. Titawat getting low after the shatter. Grunto trying to make something happen, but it's just too much. They're taking too much damage.
They take too much damage, and Rob's still trans. There's no Transcendence now for Grunto again. Mirror's going to have yet another grab. Mirror's moving so fast, doing so much damage. Mirror's been a standout player for a variety of squads in his tenure in NA, and he continues to do so here. So Harblue still has his own grab, but Dino will have that Transcendence.
Grunto looking for a way back in. Uprising about to even up on overall progress. We have Uprising hanging back here. Early D.Va pressure in. And Uprising still holding the choke. Tizzy gonna drop the shatter. Doesn't get anything. Meanwhile, Mirror countering with the grab of his own. Both grabs out for both teams, but Uprising getting far more follow through.
Uprising getting a lot more follower through there on that. They were able to isolate those players early from Grunto. Harblue invested the grab where there's no follow-up. The trance was able to be up, stop all the damage. This is looking grim for Grunto ZP. We're already at almost 80% to that ult bank for Uprising Academy. They're going to have Bomb, they're going to have Shadow, they're going to have Rally. They can have a very strong initiation here. And if Grunto decide to take another eco push and lose this fight, they're in last fight territory. So much of this is on the back of Salty and having a strong defensive bomb, but it's already so late.
Swimmer immediately getting in Rob's face. 2 down already for Grunto, and the bomb from Salty, not quite enough to equalize. Grunto on a whim and a prayer trying to move on in. Tizzy getting close to a shatter, but Uprising just bullying Grunto back, and Grunto starting to run out of time. That's why you see the D.Va moving on over the touch point. Meanwhile, the rest of Uprising, they just roll in the Grunto. They don't care about the D.Va in the back here just yet. They're trying to win the team fight outright. Titawat, though, down. Final gasp here from Grunto. The shatter coming in, knocks Mirror to the ground. But I don't think Grunto has the fall through here anymore. Uprising just too healthy on the point.
Rob Dev having to invest the Tristan is going to trade with Dino, and even with the D-Mech, though, Mirror will have grab post-trance.
Keep coming in from Grunto. More respawns coming in. More life here just yet. Rob picks off one. And Grunto might not be dead here yet. The Graviton is in. There's no Transcendence left available. And Uprising there for their own cleanup. Titawat, though, on the edge of life and death, going to fall. Grunto still desperately trying to fight this through. Beat coming on out here from Uprising. Move on in. Swimmer drops a beat. Punk follows up. And Uprising trying to take the time. It's very back and forth.
The bomb out for Feng, going to clear it. Going to kill Wub Shield as well. Most importantly, they might be able to get one. See the commit onto Dino, but the peel is there. Swimmer's beat was so fat previously, allowing them to stay here. in the fight, it's really just stagger now for
Grunto.
Grunto.
Shatter does little, but Tizzy Shatter does so much more. 2 for the Uprising down on the ground. Mirror going back in, and Uprising actually dealing with a decent amount of that transcends from Dino, keeping people alive. The last routes on Harb here kind of eaten and not doing as much as he would like. We see Uprising.
Grunto, they're winning the fight!
Yeah, Uprising unable to really hold on here. Grunto, they're close to flipping, but look at Uprising. I think you just let this go. You still have time for another fight.
They have time for another fight, but Mirror, he made the swap onto Hammond to come back for the recontest. And despite Harblu missing that grab, despite what was an incredible beat from Stormer keeping everyone up, allowing them to still continue in that fight, the focus fire was still overall better for Grunto, and Tizzy Shatter, so importantly, Tizzy Shatter did so much.
Uprising gonna start here at the rally, but RA Salty open up the Rob off to the back, gets it! And Grunto in a much better spot here. Uprising might have to give this up. Yes, they've taken down the Rhine. They're trying to look for a little bit extra. Harblu in a rough spot, awfully low. Harblu though is gonna get people back up. He's close to grab. No, Harblu's down. Uprising gonna drop the self-destruct on top, moving forward. Grunto in a bit of danger here, but Harb should have time to get back.
Wub coming up on this rally. If they can keep Rob alive for the Transcendence and Harb is there for the grab, this is extremely winnable for Grunto, even with Salty out of mech. He does get the mech back. There's the rally.
They beat early, but this is a really good grab opportunity for Harblu. It's not to the back to the point. The Graviton's going to be in. And the Graviton, was it just only used for Titawatt there? I'm not sure that was the right time. Uprising still has 5. They're still in a really rough spot, though. Grunto turning the tide of battle in their favor. Uprising desperately trying to stand the point. It's not going to be enough. Grunto fight it on back, and we're going to be going to round 3.
I cannot believe that Grunto fought that back, and so much of it off the back of that Tizzy Shatter, and continuing forward as well. Most importantly, it was just a very, very good rally for Wub to keep the backline up, to have Rob set up that Transcendence. Good stuff for Grunto.
What I will say, though, between the two teams, even though that was very entertaining chaos, it was not particularly disciplined play from either of the two teams. I think it was a bit sloppy.
I will say Harblu is in true Harblu fashion, continuing to build grabs very quickly and then yeet them away as fast as he got them. Just chunking them as soon as possible.
Treat Graviton like a cooldown ability is what we saw there to a degree. It is the School of DeFran, School of Baby Bay, and Harb right now setting up his own dojo of Zarya play in that same style.
Grunto also Grunto recognizing they have Salty on the maid.
Titawatt just gets isolated. There's a swarm of players all around him there. However, Uprising firing back. Klaus a little bit low. Both teams back and forth. But you look at this May. This May is about to get a very cold welcome on the way out. Down goes Punk. No ice block there. Of course, after just getting out, and it's gonna be Grunto, the first fight win and likely first control.
Much better with the walls for Grunto. That was the key. They catch Titawatt early with the isolation. They have a Reinhardt shield, and even though Punk is able to find one and then able to have that counter wall a little bit later, when you have a Rein shield, you are just able to survive so much stronger against the May because you don't have to worry about the shield presence nearly as much when you have D.Va.
Well used early by Punk, but I don't think it was a particularly great one. Uprising getting poked a bit as they go in, but Harblu died. Harblu got picked off somewhere in the midst of all of that. So Grunto's going to have to give up a lot of space here. I don't think they want to take a full fight, and they might just... I think they're going to get stuck in the full fight, and they already transcend.
They're deciding to commit. Also, Tizzy trying to drop the Shatter, getting frozen out of Shatter. No Shatter available there. See the grab come out. It's a free grab because there's no D.Va on the field. No Transcendence for Rob.
I really have to question Grunto even posturing there. You just lost Harblu. That was an absolutely free 6-on-5. Back out.
Well, I think it's okay to commit to the fight if they had maybe set up the Shatter at all, but it was just hoping that Tizzy lands one. It's one thing if you have a Shatter, but Shatter is an ability that must be set up. You can't just grab, you can't just throw it out there and get value. You must have it set up. There was no setup at all for the Shatter.
Now Punk is in a much better spot to get good walls here. Blizzard going to be out here from Salty. Shatter used here. Titawatt, and Titawatt getting awfully chilly here on the point. Healed back up, and meanwhile, Mirror on the flank, it's 2.
It was just it was a counter Blizzard. Counter Blizzard from Punk. There's no Divas for either squad, and Dino had that Transcendence while Rob did not. So their Blizzard had a lot more value. They survived Salties. So this is Uprising continuing to hold these chokes. And when it's May versus May, the chokes are a little bit less scary because you can wall the opposing enemy May wall and get in. Uprising currently, though, going to have a grab, and there's no support ults for Grunto. So this grab for Mirror, it's free. Once again, it's going to be very scary.
And they use the wall to get in. Benefit of running a May themselves, as you say, but here's the Graviton. And here comes the follow-through. Uprising just casually strolling through Grunto.
That's another fight win for Uprising. They did invest that grab. They're going to continue to hold the choke. Hardblue has a grab of his own, and they're going to be double support up for GRUNTo along with the Shatter, so they have the ults they need. They just need to make sure that this grab finds value. It's a free grab. Hardblue must land the grab, and ideally...
You're caster cursing him so hard right now.
I mean, he needs to. He needs to hit this grab. There's no D.Va on the field. There is no Transcendence for Dino.
One of the workers, like, below the base here is getting hit by the grab as it goes off the map. But no, it's not the case at all. Hardblue does land a good grab, forces out the beat from Uprising. Shatter in from Tizzy. Puts Klaus to the floor. GRUNTo trying to take advantage, but already down. Tizzy ends up getting isolated after the Shatter, and Uprising, they shrug off the worst of it. And this is getting real grim here for GRUNTo. This is their final opportunity. It's 95% for the Uprising.
95%, good wall. First Alti tries to deny the freeze, but there's the Blizzard for Punk. There's no Transcendence for Rob. They're cleaning up a point. This is definitely map. It's over. And despite Hardblue's grab, there was no follow-up at all. There was no one there in position.
Was not Hardblue's fault, but the rest of the battle, certainly against GRUNTo. Uprising takes map 1 in what could only really be described as probably one of the more chaotic matches we've seen in terms of back and forth. I think the flow between these two teams was a lot messier than the norm.
And it's been a while since we've seen the May Goats versus May Goats mirror matchup, which is what we saw right there on Busan. And there's so much importance with the walls that both teams were just mind gaming themselves and just counter walling each other to remove the enemy team's May wall. So you're just now in a neutral fight when neither team has walls, which we saw a lot on the entry.
And I mean, that's totally fine in that situation. I actually think running the May, the deal with another May when they're set up, isn't the worst idea because May is disproportionately powerful when you're in control on that stage of Busan. But so far, if that's a preview of what we're going to be seeing in the rest of the match, this is still going to be a very entertaining match because, again, I think both teams are losing players in situations where they probably shouldn't, but when it's equal on both sides, it does make for what has been a very back-and-forth game.
It's what we call NA Overwatch. That's what we like to call in the business. We call that the NA Overwatch, NA LOL. And it is nice to see what is a little bit of chaos, a little bit of a very flexible team comps. But GRUNTo have to pick up their synergy. This is the most important part, because also, this squad is mostly the same. Not all the same, but it is mostly the same squad returning from last Contender season. So they don't have a huge excuse when it comes to synergy necessarily. And so they need to be picking up those cleanups in their engages in particular.
Well, I do think they've moved into a team house. At least that's what I think I saw on social media, where it seemed like GRUNTo was setting them up in a new place. So if there's any excuse where, granted, it should be an improvement, maybe they're just getting used to their new digs and where they are at. But, Uprising also looking better than what they looked towards the end of last season, where Uprising looked very lost at the end of last season. And here, I'm not going to tell you that they're playing the paragon of 3-3 in terms of just, clean, coordinated gameplay, but it's still an improvement relative to the kind of doldrums they found themselves at the end of last season.
True, and also incorporating some more of that OCE talent. I mean, they had Punk before, now they have Tidawat as well from the Pacific region. So Boss to continue that mantra of let's go to other regions, let's find talent unknown and bring them to NA with our NA Academy money.
It's World Explorer Huck, is what you're seeing there.
It is very much so.
He personally commandeers a craft seafaring vessel and just goes forward onto the world, goes into the uncharted territories, finds new islands unexplored.
And something to note for Uprising as well for this roster is sure, it looks great now, or it looks good right now comparatively to last season, but the roster is not going to be the same because this is Dino's last match with the squad. He announced a while ago that after this, he's going to be released. He's not going to be playing for them. So I wonder who their flex support may be. I wonder what that'll change with the team, if it will change anything at all. Could it be up? It could be bad. It could be good. We'll have to see. So when we look at Uprising now, we could be looking at a very different Uprising in their next match.
And I think the key here is that if you're a team that's going to be facing instability, where you don't know who's going to be in the roster in the long term, what's going to be changed up one way or another, it sounds simple, but still true, is that at least pick up the W's where you can to give yourself a buffer to deal with the changes that you're going to have to make. We're getting into Temple Nubis. It's Uprising on the defense first. GRUNTo taking on the attack. And interesting enough, it's Hardblue on the Pharah.
It is the hard Pharah. It's been a while since we've seen it, but Hardblue can play a pretty decent Pharah. It's been a while since we've seen it, though, as Wub actually wins the Widow duel. So Punk going to go down, going to be res by Swimmer. Uprising playing this bunker strategy with the Klaus May as well as Mirror.
Wub gets a Widow duel again, and this keeps the skies pretty clear for Hardblue. It's what you like to see as a Pharah, where it's I don't have to worry about the Widow. Great!
Yeah, Hardblue needs to take a strong position right now, and so does Wub. And both of them could right now just be moving and taking flanks. You see this poke come in, Tizzy actually engaging, dropping the slam, gonna have to get out of there as Dino's moved main and actually takes Salty again, hooks him as he's coming back from main.
Well, Wub finds another pickoff, and Wub has been the silent assassin the entire time. You're looking at Harblue, who is attracting most of the attention. Might be dead to the hook, and no! Harblue is going to get away. He's getting chased down, but the Mercy healing. It's too much sustain. Meanwhile, Wub, no one's paying attention to the Wub, and Wub just continues to lay in.
Wub and Harblue both Tizzy following up there. And what was relatively quiet for the rest of Grunto besides their shield presence, but Harblue and Wub won the Widow duel twice, continue to get picks. They're probably going to be swapping off now. Grunto unlikely to stay on this. Salty's not even that close to EMP. So I feel like, if anything, they might just go Sombra Goats. Play that with the Sombra Goats. I think that's what they're going to be doing, yes.
And I mean, as you say, the downside is they're not going to have the EMP for this fight, but credit credit's due. Wub did enormous work on the Widow there. However, I think the nature of ult economy here does give Uprising a chance to bring it back, and Uprising, emergency Doomfist this early before the fight's even begun.
I think for Uprising as well, even if they win this fight and if Grunto doesn't commit EMP, they're in a rough situation. They don't have Transcendence, but as we say that Salty's down, the fight is going to be, their win condition for Grunto is done. But that's okay, because look at Uprising Academy's composition, ZP. How do they survive EMP? If they survive EMP, how do they survive the resulting fight where Tizzy will probably have Shatter, Rob will have Transcendence? They have no defensive ults. So much of this is going to be reliant on the proper peel, and then Titawad actually Klaus having a great Blizzard.
I mean, right now, I think their best case scenario is to continue to beat up Salty. Salty's been getting picked early, way earlier than really should be, and that's why EMP isn't even up. And I mean, this is the type of game where it's like, oh, you go for EMP and you die mid-EMP. That's the best case scenario for Uprising right now.
Yeah, that's what Grunto is doing, is that Grunto is also playing very passively. They're not really making space for Salty, which allows Uprising to hunt Salty a lot more. The hacks out of Titawat, there's no shield.
EMP goes out. Grunto goes in, but they're already down Tizzy, and that already makes things pretty rough here for Grunto. And okay, you've used the EMP, but there's still enough members of Uprising around, and Dino just assassinating in the back.
I'm honestly surprised that Grunto decided to commit the EMP for that fight. Because I was talking about how do they survive in the following fights, even if they win this.
I feel like Salty needs to swap off. And okay, Salty is getting up to Sombra. It has not been a good Sombra game for Salty here so far.
And Uprising going to be staying with this composition. Punk staying with the Doomfist, so no D.Va still for them. So Harblue, if you can get a grab, it is a free grab potential. They still have Blizzard. And this Blizzard now at risk of being eaten because Salty's on D.Va. Not a lot of ults still in the bank for Grunto.
Well, that would be one way to have redemption. Just cancel Winter as a D.Va. Uprising, though, pretty healthy in terms of ults. Punk just going to casually walk on forward. And Dino again with the hook and pick off onto Lucio to the back. Dino just continues to make the Roadhog work.
He's very aggressive with that supercharger. You see the hook come out, denying the charge for Harblue. Important to deny that charge. So no supercharger for Uprising anymore. They still have Blizzard. They still have Doomfist ult. They're coming up on Molten Core. Do they stick with this, knowing that Grunto is coming up on the triple support ult on the grab? And it looks like they will be. And this is once again a scary scenario for Uprising. They don't have defensive ults. It's all on the Blizzard as their only peel. So they have nothing to deal with grab. They don't really have much to keep anyone alive to get shattered. And Grunto have all these ults of their own with nothing to lock them in place.
Grunto, they're just going to go down mid right now. Early wall, though. Going to split it up a little bit. Delay just a bit. Grunto shrugging off, moving on forward. Transcendence out from Rob early. Got a bit spooked from the dive coming in from Punk. You have the Valkyrie up and over right now. Graviton going to be invested. Dino in danger. Dino's been the hero, but now he's gone. Uprising trying to make a little bit of lava on the floor, but so far Grunto shrugging off the beat, keeping everyone alive. And every pickoff here going their way as they move on to the point, just overpowering Uprising.
And that was the problem with Uprising's ult economy and their comp in the end. Is that how do they defeat all the triple support ults to the grab? They have nothing to stop it. They have no defensive ults. It's going to be staggered coming up for Uprising. But that's all it is. There's no way they potentially win this fight unless they're able to get a key frag like Rob.
Well, they're hoping that Punk just punches someone in the face. Self-destruct from Salty. Destroys a sad Torbjorn turret in the corner. And Grunto right now just clean up one way or another. You have the May coming in, but this is looking pretty much done and dusted with Grunto going to be finishing out. But it was a struggle.
It was a struggle, but Grunto, I mean, it's just a numbers game where eventually you get a better engagement because Uprising, once again, just had nothing in their bank. They had no ults to counter it. And a pretty solid time. Not the fastest time we've ever seen, but a little shy of 3 minutes, so a solid time.
Yeah, I mean, the scary thing about all that is that I don't think Uprising had the run that gimmicky of a defense there, because the point you touch on, right, is the idea that part of why people run 3-3 is that eventually you get your ults to a point where it's very difficult to deal with unless you're also running a 3-3 or a 3-2-1 and playing the ultimate economy game at the same time, whereas the composition Uprising was running, I mean, it was good to reverse momentum to a degree, but eventually GRUNTo just got into a spot where, all right, we're going to win the fight.
So now it's going to be Uprising Academy on the offense, looking to equalize, but potentially have a better attack than what GRUNTo did. And it was very surprising. I mean, we like to I'm touching on it again. We just talked about it then, but it was a weird decision for Uprising to stay with that gimmicky comp like you talked about. It was closer to a Junkertown comp in a way where they know GRUNTo doesn't have EMP. They know they weren't that close to ults. Why not just swap 3-3 and then start building up your own bank? We're in a much better position. Like, you're not going to beat that with Blizzard ults to hit with the Blizzard and also Doomfist with the Space Jam. It's not quite the Space Jam with the grab, but
I mean, they were basically hoping that Punk would continually land very key pickoffs where, I mean, yeah, a good Doomfist can do that reliably, but not every time, and certainly not against the amount of ults that GRUNTo had built up there, not without, you know, very good fortune smiling on you. But Uprising, again, going to be going off the tried and true to a degree. Bring out here T-Watt on the Hammond. See if it actually stays in the Hammond. I think it might swap in.
Yeah, it was just they were going for the scout. You see GRUNTo is playing 3-3 with Tizzy, Ryan, and Rob on the Ana, actually.
Wait, T-Watt's still in the Hammond. There hasn't been a swap yet.
They're going triple deeps. They're going to go triple deeps. So they wanted to see what they were running. So Punk, now they're going to have the Hanzo, going to have the Pharah for the spam, for the point, for the shield presence, forcing GRUNTo to rotate towards the point already. They're going to play this mini pack room.
Wait, they're swapping again.
And now they go 3-3. Now that they've moved them back. That was actually a huge mind game, which I really like from Uprising. You don't see it too often, but they go triple DPS to force GRUNTo onto the point, and then now they rotate. But the thing is, GRUNTo's just going to go back into the high ground.
Yeah, GRUNTo hasn't lost anything. It's Uprising.
So I don't know.
Themselves.
They sort of played themselves. They burned 30 seconds off the clock, and now they're just in a scenario where they're stuck. There's the sleep on a Punk. Will Rob look for a nade? There's no reason to look for a nade right now. It's just delay.
I mean, we have a minute burned off the clock, and we've yet to have a real fight. And that was Uprising trying to just win position without firing a shot. GRUNTo fighting tooth and nail here. The stand high ground. T-Watt stuck on the Bionade, getting awfully low as a result. Has been able to be healed, and T-Watt's going to fall.
T-Watt down already, and with that first fight win, and already the time burned off the clock, this is a Primal time. GRUNTo has Primal, Rob has Primal. They can give it to Tizzy for free, and he can walk forward and just win the fight. There's no sleep to stop him.
And the Nano is ready for Rob in this situation. Ooh, the rare. The rare sleep dart finish.
It's quite rare. You don't see that too often. And because that there's no on the field and they know that T-Watt will not have Shatter, this Nano onto Tizzy could be extremely good. He just walks forward for free, sets up his own Shatter, can walk over the front line for Uprising.
I mean, play Tizzy's theme music, drop Nano, and Uprising goes, what do?
Or they could make Raid Boss Wub, where they drop the Rally Nano. That's also an option. You make the Raid Boss Wub. There's two viable options for GRUNTo in this engagement. And Uprising, unless they want to commit their grab, there's no way to really stop
They commit the grab, and they're going to put the Nano directly on the Tizzy. Tizzy going to drop the Shatter, swings the hammer. It's getting messy. People put the grab, Eden on the other side. Punk all over it, but GRUNTo still perhaps in a better spot here. The Nano and the Tizzy just letting them deal with the Graviton on the other side.
So the Graviton has been Eden. It's gone. And Mirror also invested in his own. But Uprising, they still need to make it to the point. They still need to win the fight as Dino's going to be picked off. He was caught out there on that high ground. The rest of his team, a lot of the team was low ground.
And the Harb's credit, even though his grab was thrown into the abyss, he's built up 50% in the aftermath. So the Nano from Rob on the Tizzy, pretty much the fight-defining moment.
So now, well, really for me, the fight-defining moment was obviously that Nano, but because of the pin resulting from the Nano, where they removed T-Watt so early. And Uprising now have to re-enter again. They have no grab, but they are building close to another one. He has a little hard blue a little bit. They will have Diva Bomb. They will have Shatter. There's some options to open it up. They know there's no Transcendence, and the Shatter catches everyone.
T-Watt just opens up onto GRUNTo, and that's going to be point A.
That is point A. Extremely ult-efficient point A for Uprising, considering the situation they were in, because now Mirror's been able to save the grab. They're continuing to pull up Transcendence. They can look to snowball into last.
Uprising, they finally get through point A. Going to have about 5 minutes to go forward, a little bit less. We'll see if they can snowball. I don't think it's a typical snowball situation. I mean, it's not the worst, but GRUNTo definitely has options to deal with it, especially if they have a good bomb to deal with the grab.
They do. They definitely have options, but remember, no beat. So their defensive ult is the only defensive ult is going to be the bomb to peel for it, to stop the pin, and also Rob's Nano to keep someone alive.
Rob almost falls. That was way too close for comfort.
And look how early this bomb is, too. There's no defensive bomb. The bomb is out a little bit early.
And they're going to use the Nano here on the Tizzy. Tizzy trying to turn things around once more. Dino, though, at the Transcendence, kind of ruining Tizzy's day. The Nano's gone. The grab is eaten again! Harb feeding Punk one grab after another. And the bomb in from Uprising to the back. Immediately after, Mirror looking for the finish and the fall through. Charged up, good to go. And this is looking very good for the Uprising as they put GRUNTo on blast.
And GRUNTo, they've been cleaned up entirely. They have no ults. It's all going to be staggered for GRUNTo. They need to come out. They need to look for a frag. It's unlikely they do, because as soon as Harblu's down, you have no energy. You have no Zarya. They're picking up 2. And Punk has had Harblu's number. And I'm sure GRUNTo wished at any point they had a grab.
I mean, he's repeatedly calling it over and over again where, as you say, GRUNTo's going, man, a Graviton would be great here. And then Punk's just like, I'm hungry.
Very, very hungry. And that's a better time bank as well for Uprising.
So that means it's going to be GRUNTo taking on the attack here again. And I'm curious to see if we're going to see any crazy hero swaps like we did. Where, don't forget, Uprising set a quicker time even while, you know, just kind of booming themselves with a crazy game of hero swapping that didn't actually amount to anything in the end.
I wouldn't be surprised to see GRUNTo try to play that triple DPS there. Again, put Wub onto the Widow and Harblu on the Pharah. They had a lot of success. Uprising, though, might be expecting it. But you see, if you look on their comp right now, they're running Cheetah on the Winston and Mirror on the Sombra, along with Dino Ana. So you have the Winston to help deny the space, to be more mobile. You have a Sombra to watch out for the hacks, to deny the Hammond. And you have Dino and Ana that can not only contest the Pharah, but Nano, pretty early, having that sustain and the ability to snipe and keep yourself alive is huge.
If you're Mirror here on the defense, you have one job. Stop Wub. Because you think back to GRUNTo's first offense, it was truly Wub that did the most here in the Widow. And GRUNTo, actually, they might not even be running the Widow at all. It looks like they're going for a very
3-3.
different type of offense.
I think this could be a mind game in a way, because they expected that Uprising's like, oh, they're going to prepare for our triple DPS, but if we just roll on 3-3, then we have the Superior comp, which they do. And Mirror gets fast and he's down.
Mirror, you can't do that. Mirror gets caught by Wub, way too close to Brigitte, and now the gates are open for GRUNTo. They can just casually walk on through. Down goes Titawat, and that is a disaster for the Uprising.
And a good read from Wub. See the peel there for Well, the armor pack onto Rob, keeping Rob alive. If they can keep everyone alive here, get this early cap, Swimmer should go down to the Diva. No, he managed to get out good wall rides, but that's an early first cap for GRUNTo. They have the ult advantage. Uprising now making the swaps onto 3-3 themselves, and they're going to be behind in the ult game.
This is quite rough for the Uprising. I mean, I guess the one upside here is that GRUNTo won so hard that they don't have ults.
No, they have no ults. They just have the ult advantage. So it is in a perfectly fine spot for Uprising. But the longer the fight runs, if Harblu gets this early grab and is actually able to get it out there without being eaten, there's a very real win condition.
Uprising, I think, wants to take this fight as soon as possible. And GRUNTo, I think they're going through too quickly here. They should have been building a little bit longer. They're giving Uprising a better fight here where I don't think they needed to. Uprising moving forward, looking for Salty, but they build the Transcendence early. Now they're going to go.
Now they're going to go. They need another pick to make sure they're in a good spot. Harblu coming up on the grab. There's the other pick they need. The rally out for Wub. Dino close to the Transcendence, but most importantly, if Harblu gets this grab, and even if they trade for the I
don't think the grab matters here much. I mean, the Graviton's got pulling 3, so it's a good grab. Salty with the fall through, and GRUNTo, they've been able to get on through here. Uprising, unlikely to be able to delay this for much longer. Still going to give it a try, but a minute 45 left for GRUNTo, and that's going to be a 4th point on the board.
Very fast offense for GRUNTo, sort of off that first. They're able to enter. The ult economy did matter in the end, because the most important swap was Dino having to go to Zen later than Rob. Rob comes in with 50% trance to point B, and Dino has 0. And so they get that early trance, they survive, they set up Harblu's grab in the end, and it was good.
I do think that was risky for GRUNTo, though, given the fact that they had an ult lead, but they didn't have ults yet. Because Uprising's ideal engagement there would have been to just take that fight as soon as possible, while they knew that GRUNTo wouldn't have anything ult-wise. The longer that fight went, the better it was going to be for GRUNTo, just because of the edge they had back on point A. So, you know, it worked out for GRUNTo. They went in early, and they ended up getting ults, but there's also a world where that was almost too aggressive and could have backfired.
Now we have to see what continues in the mind game Olympics here, as both teams were first love to do the classic, we're swapping, but we're not really swapping, and now we're playing this comp, but we're not actually. Both squads have been utilizing some psychology.
It's the classic, I know that you know that I know.
So some very good stuff happening there in terms of the swapping game. As GRUNTo, they've rolled out, they're playing 3-3, but they have Rob on the Ana, so it gives them the flexibility to play the defense that they want with the sustain, but also have some little bit of cushion when you run an Ana to sustain against triple DPS as well.
I think Ana is definitely the sort of hedge your bets pick, regardless, in the sense that it's not quite as weak. as Zen would be against a DPS heavier setup. Ana can fend for herself, perhaps a little bit better. But Uprising, they're going to be running 3-3. They're just going to be rotating over. It's 3-3 with the Zen.
3-3 with the Zen, so they do have that advantage. But remember, the longer the fight runs, the stronger the Ana becomes. Because you're getting closer to that Nano, you have that extra sustain.
Tizzy in danger. Tizzy's already down. Uprising able to get compressor, and even the Bionade onto the back. Klaus and Titowat. Well, Klaus might be down, but this is still better for Uprising thus far.
They're still in a good spot, and Salty's going to D-Mech too. So GRUNTo have been moved towards the point. They're down 2. Even if their health is better, they need to keep Harbleu alive. If Harbleu goes down here, this fight is definitely over. There's no recontest potential now. It's done.
He is out of it, and the good part here for Uprising builds quite a bit ult-wise, where they don't have to delay too long looking at point B as they look to set a quicker time than GRUNTo here, is that all they need to do, Mirror already is coming in with a decent amount of energy back, give Mirror a little bit of time to build Grav, and they have a very strong window.
Oh, they have an extremely strong window now because GRUNTo knows this, and they've swapped. Their decision has been to swap Salty onto the base, so there's no D.Va on the field. Mirror doesn't have to worry about a Grab Eat anymore.
Mirror's free. The shackles are broken.
And there are no trance. There's no trance either. So much of this...
Dino's down!
Well, that'll do it.
The fire strike from Tizzy might have just pulled GRUNTo out of the fire here. Bionate to the back, Titowat, all sorts of purple. Same with Mirror and Uprising. They just throw the opportunity away.
That is the best possible thing that could have happened to GRUNTo, because they not only stop that fight, but they build up their beat, they build up some other ults, so they have the ability to survive through this grab now, even with Salty on Mei.
There's no way your Zenyatta should be dying to Fire Strike there. That just cannot happen.
And there had to be some sort of other spam happen. It couldn't just been Fire Strike, but even still, it should have been on Punk to keep that damage. Or maybe Dino was just in a bad spot. Either way. GRUNTo, they have the Nano, they have the beat. Coming up on Grav. They have a lot of ults in their bank, and this Grav is not free anymore. Because even if they get the Grav off, because there's no D.Va to eat it, there's so many ults alive for GRUNTo, especially if their supports make sure to not be in it. But they're in a fine spot.
Our close to having Graviton. See if he can get through the Punk monster. Graviton can be used here first by Uprising. Harbleu hasn't have built yet. Already made pick. And Uprising, already 2 to their name. Harb's Grav connects, but I don't know if the follow-through is going to be there. Tizzy ends up charging away, and everything has gone the way of Uprising. GRUNTo just getting blitzed on down. And this is a quick redemption arc for the Uprising, as it's looking like they're going to equalize here and now.
Salty has made it to the point, though. There is some delay possible. See Wub coming up on the Doomfist. Rob is going to be on that Hammond. So they've already a worse time for Uprising on this offense so far. And even if they end up winning this point, still that worst time bank.
Now it's just delay right now for GRUNTo, seeing how much they can pull here. But it's not going to be a whole lot. Uprising, they'll have a slower time, but they should be able to finish this out. The last few members of GRUNTo trying to get on over, and just not going to happen. We go to extra rounds here. The good old 6 control point, as it were.
Yeah, we are definitely looking at a 6 CP scenario. That worst time for Uprising, so they're going to have to attack here again.
Initiating match.
I wouldn't be surprised to see GRUNTo play that same defense. And the thing they need to be watching out for, and what Uprising recognized very well, we talked about, is that the longer a fight runs, the stronger Nano becomes. Because of that sustain, because of the, especially for first fights, you get closer to that Nano. And Uprising did a good job of rushing in and focus firing, I should say, Tizzy down very early. And so GRUNTo needs to know this. They need to save their cooldowns or just play a different composition so Tizzy can't be rolled over.
Speaking of the Ana play, though, we brought it up in the middle, but just to give it its proper due is that Rob was having some very good Bionades there to just make things tough for Uprising, where was it the crazy, everyone is purple? No, but if you get the Rhine and the Brigitte purple, that's usually enough, because suddenly, for Titowat, he wasn't able to be anywhere near as aggressive, and it's just an easy target. It's like, hey, it's Ryan that can't be healed. You can take that down pretty quickly.
Well, that's always been Rob's forte more than anything else, is that Rob has been known historically as someone that's a much more Ana-focused than Zen-focused. He's been very good at Ana, and has had to, come to terms, I guess, and learn more the style of Zen compared to his Ana. So, is a hero he's very comfortable with. Uprising rolling out here on the 3-3. GRUNTo going to be playing much the same. Now, no Ana, though. Going to trust that Uprising is going to be playing the 3-3 of their own, so they have Rob on that Zen.
Uprising going to be quickly rotating up and through the left. Not really wasting much time. 3-3 mirror both sides. You see Rob in the back here, looking at Discord Orb focus, and Tizzy and Harb going to strike. Uprising repelled, unable to get a clean engage for the choke.
And because Uprising only had less than a minute and a half, losing the first fight and allowing Tizzy now to already have Shatter, and because Uprising have to re-enter through these chokes, there's a very real situation where GRUNTo removes Bubble, in this next fight. They set up Bash Shatter, or they just set up Boop after the bubble's gone. There's a lot of options available for Grunto with an early Shadow like this, and Uprising have to enter into a choke when they have very little time. They can't take fancy rotations. They literally just must fight. This is last fight.
And they're going to be trying to go through the left, where this is pretty favorable here for Tizzy, as you say, especially with the Shatter in reserve. This is a very difficult choke point to get through. Uprising, they're going to try and get through the needle. The Shatter comes down. Titawat in danger. Titawat's down.
Titawat down, and Dino's actually trance. Wasn't able to save Titawat. Rob needs to keep Tizzy alive. He does. This is looking very, very good for Grunto. It's all on Mirror's grab. Can he get by for the grab? But Salty!
On Eden! Back the other way. Salty going to nom. Doing his own punk impression towards the end. Tizzy there to follow through. And Grunto going to be repelling Uprising here off point A. That was a well-played defense, and also really nice from Tizzy.
Well played from Tizzy, well played from Salty. Salty has always been a solid performer for the squad.
There's a rally coming in here. The Sens are trying to come back forward. It's not entirely over, but okay, the shot from Tizzy can make it a lot more over than perhaps it was just a moment before. Swimmer stuck in the grab, just attached to the wall. So Grunto, they have a good defense here, and now they're well set up to move forward, take Temple Anubis, and even up the series 1-1.
You have to know that the Hard Blue fans are rejoicing for what is now Grunto, formerly Chicken Continues to equalize this series against a resurgent Uprising coming their way out through trials with that perfect record. But it's not over by any means. We've seen miraculous holds. We have seen miraculous holds on Anubis. A minute 44 is not an insane amount of time by any means. It's long. There's about at least 3 to 4 fights.
I mean, if this were a weather report, let's just change it a little bit. It's now the draw report. There's at least a 35% chance of a draw heading your way here. This is certainly holdable by Uprising. But it is favored by Grunto. The worst they can do now is the draw. But they still have a minute 44 to obtain victories, so...
And they know they only need one fight. All they need is one fight. They don't have to worry about getting to point B and holding on to ults. It's all about winning first, getting that tick. And Uprising, you see, based on their composition with Titawat and the Winston and Dino and the Ana, they're expecting potentially some DPS. They want to hedge their bets. They want to have that available. Grunto look like they're going to come out on that DPS-centric comp that they had. Not even triple deeps, actually. It's really quad with Zolik on the Mercy. And Grunto, if they see this composition, I wouldn't be surprised to see them just go back and roll 3-3. Just get this in, go back to 3-3.
Well, they could go for that, but also there's no Sombra here either, and that was one thing that could have made Wub's life difficult, whereas you look at what Uprising is running, Wub might not always get the best shots, but I don't think there's going to be a lot of pressure on Wub, especially with Harblu being in the air.
He's Salty going to be pressuring here right now. The rest of Grunto moving up on the high ground. Actually, Tizzy going to be antied, but nothing too bad. It's unlikely anyone gets caught.
Tizzy's down. Uprising, they just take the close quarters fight, make it their own, while Wub and Harblu off on the side. That certainly buys good time here for the Uprising. Remember, Grunto, they're only going to have about a minute left.
Yeah, they've already burnt almost 40 seconds off the clock. Harblu, though, gets Dino. He's still up in the air. They find to get him in the end, and they're going to lose Zolik because of it. But that's a huge threat. Wub going down, though, is not. But if they lose Titawat, this is still very winnable for Grunto. They can come back in. Their spawns are closer. Remember, their spawns are a lot closer. Swimmer isn't going back to Taxi either. He is not going back to Taxi.
There's definitely a window of opportunity here. I'm surprised Wub isn't swapping. I actually think something like Tracer here, just on the fast break, could be better. But they still want to look for the Widow pressure as Uprising reinforces and Harblu can be leading the way. They know they have more room to work with. Very scary here for Uprising. Remember, they can't give up more than 33% on the point.
Punk is hacked. Punk is hacked. If they get this D-Mech, that's a huge pick if they get this D-Mech.
As he gets one, Mirror, though, striking right on back. Grunto getting in on the point. Harblu, plenty of room, takes down Punk. And Harblu just completely unchained right now. There's no one to really challenge him. It's Lucio just trying to fight him, but Swimmer, that's not a fight you're going to win. Harblu staying on top right now. Swimmer getting awfully low. And Grunto, firm control, looking to even up the series here and now. Harblu, though, a little bit low, has the barrage, and he can just drop it. There's not a threat.
Well, he could drop the barrage. He is going to get the Brigida there in the end. Mirror, he's high energy. He's going to solo grab Harblu, but it's Mirror and Titawat versus the world. The mines are out.
EMP can be invested here. Rob on the Hanzo and Grunto. They move it on through. This should be theirs. Harblu back up into the fight. The solo grab can't keep him down. And Grunto, they even up the series 1-1.
And it looked tenuous occasionally when Harblu was trying to get Swimmer, and Swimmer was just dodging all those rockets. But getting that early pick onto the Mora, because, and what was so crucial, I think, when I look back, is Swimmer didn't go back to Taxi. No. And it is sort of a 50-50, right? If you go back to Taxi or Mora and make sure that she gets back, then you're not on point healing your team. You're not alive to give him the speed, give him those values, to deny the knife. So it is sometimes just a choice of a split decision. Do I go back and Taxi on Mora in that situation? She's Mora. She should be pretty survivable against flankers. or do I make sure the rest of my team lives and I protect myself? And I think that was the right decision with Swimmer in the end, but it worked out where GRUNTo just saw that and just don't have Demora.
All in all, it was not ideal just because they had staggered that hard, but at the end of it, we have an even series here as we look to end the night. It's 1-1. Who's going to win? We'll find out after the jump.